Hey guys, it's me, Gabriel, coming to you with a video on this. So you got these smart guys over at Stanford or some sort of highfalutin kind of organization or college where they came up with the 7 universal moral rules, as it were, and I thought it was really cool when I heard about this on the radio, and I looked it up and I wrote them down. And they are as follows: help. So the first one is help/love your family. Depending on the article, I saw like the verbiage a little bit different, but I think the notion is there all the same. Ooh, it's getting sunny up in here, y'all. Let me put some shades up in here. All right. Anyways, the next one is help your group. The third is return favors. The fourth is be brave. I think that's now we're on to 5. So the fifth is defer to superiors/authorities. The sixth is be fair or divide resources fairly. And then the seventh is respect others' property. I think that's what it is. Yeah, property. So, and I think, well, honestly, and they were saying how like 99.9% of all cultures in America, or not even just America, in the world, really, they said, throughout basically all of humanity, for the most part, abide by these 7 moral rules as basically the basis for right living. And I thought that was fascinating. From like a spiritual standpoint, I think that's really cool because you can see those alluded to definitely within like the Bible, help, loving your neighbor as yourself and things like that. The golden rule, I think, definitely flows into that. I mean, you want people to respect your property, and really that I think can be a very broad term. So for instance, I mean, well, like the violation of these morals are often why we feel very strongly. Like for instance, when someone is raped, for instance, that's a violation of the property, that being your body. They have violated that person's property of their body themselves. You are, in a sense, a person's. You are your own property, your own resource, as it were, if you want to look at it in that way. So yeah, I mean, and that's why I think there's such a strong dynamic of needing, for instance, to being loving to your family. I think, like, because they were talking about on the radio, it's like and this is true, you got to start from where you can. You really can't necessarily affect change. It's hard to affect change on a global level before you're affecting it first, before you're first taking the effort to affect within yourself, your friends, your loved ones, your family, these kind of things, these things that are within your relative grasp. Because it's amazing that by your example and the way you live, how that can have an impact on the lives of others. I find that as a fascinating sort of ripple effect of our actions and the lives we live. I mean, if you think about it, your actions are the fulfillment of your words. So, you can say you love someone, but until you really show it by your actions, those words have not yet been fulfilled. They're empty, as it were. Empty promises, empty words, You don't really feel it. Because people will remember your actions far longer than they will remember the things you actually say. I can't remember everything the people who have meant the most to me have said. I don't remember all those little things, but I can tell you I remember how they made me feel. And that's what sticks with me. So these values, these moral rules, I think really do reflect kind of the way to live in a lot of ways. And I think in a lot of ways, if you give a situation, you can probably apply one of these rules, one of these values to, basically you can apply it into that situation. So for instance, stealing. You could apply that to, you stole something, and so what that could be, that would be a violation of being brave. You're not being brave because you're not having the courage to get an honest job, to perhaps you're not expressing the courage to own up to what you're doing, because sometimes people, for instance, they steal for drugs, for instance, they are stealing because they just can't get enough, and it's like not having the courage to appreciate what you own, or you're also not respecting the property of another because you're trying to take without asking, so really I feel like from looking at these and really letting them kind of sink in, it's amazing how they really can, I think, be very foundational to your life. And I think, the beauty of this is, a lot of times we feel these things within ourselves, but a lot of times it's hard for us to articulate them. But thanks to, the great minds who would take the time to be able to articulate these things, it kind of saves us the trouble. And so I think you feel within yourself, and now here we have these things that we feel within ourselves that, yeah, these do feel like they resonate with me, and understandably so, because these are things that have been, based off of their comprehensive study, we're able to show how this is something that permeates into 99.9% of all humanity. And I'd like to think that if you're watching this video, you're among that group, as it were. And it makes sense, even from a tribal survival standpoint, you're stronger in numbers, so it would make sense that you would want to do things within your ability to help your group out, your tribe out, whether it's your work, your family, and things like that. And I think that just shows how, even from a prehistoric kind of level, that there is applicability there. And I think it is when we apply these values, apply these moral rules, that we are able to come into our greatest selves, because we are reflecting a life that is most in tune with what would be most beneficial to the world around us. Figure out a way to apply that in your life. So these are, I think, 7 great values to be able to apply in all facets of life. So for myself, I'm intrigued to see how I can apply this. Holy smokes, what was that? Okay, I think it was a car. I'm excited to see how I can apply this, because it's great to have these things where it's like, okay, here they are. I can make them my own, and I can really, really live them and see how it really affects. Because I've noticed just today, I've really tried to take on this notion of how can I be most helpful in my work, especially in my work, because when you're just living your life devoid of other people, when you can leave work, you can just do your own thing. But when you're at work, you often deal with other people, so it's like, okay, it's an environment where you're subjected to having to deal with all sorts of people, very much so, who don't necessarily think the way you think, or do things the way you do things, or have maybe see things a different way. And so it's a great opportunity to learn how to be flexible, and also how to be more helpful as someone who's getting more into a leadership position. I think that is brought home very clearly, and I feel like for me, I'm trying to be proactive about that. So for me, being able to be as helpful as I can in these kind of situations, and seeing how I can be helpful. And I tell you, it really has helped. One, it helps the day go by, so I'm not just trying to skate by. I'm really trying to look at it from a perspective of how can I be most helpful in my office. And it's amazing what I've been able to help accomplish, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, there's the mission. I have the mission because I'm in the Air Force, but you have your objective at your job. It's like, you're a part of that. You're a part of something bigger than yourself. So it's like, how can I help contribute towards that in the best of my ability? And it's amazing how, you're able to kind of, in some ways, settle into you're able to capitalize on your strengths and how there's things that you can do that can really, I think, resonate with you. Like when you put yourself out there, it's amazing how there's things that, the universe, God, what have you call it, will answer that and will give unto you things that can help grow you in the best possible way. Sometimes that is doing things that you may not entirely enjoy, but yet could still be extremely helpful to developing yourself and growing yourself in the best possible way. And to look at it in that kind of way. And look what we were talking about all this, and look how positive and uplifting we are now in this capacity, speaking about these moral rules. So they're cool stuff. Again, I'll reiterate, helping. So the first one is help and love your family, help your group, return favors, be brave, defer to authorities / superiors, be fair and divide resources fairly, and respect others properly. So pretty simple, I think, to follow, or rather, implicate, or not, in practice, it might be a little bit more hard. That's where the rubber meets the road, if you will. But I think, for what it's worth, these are values and principles that are surely worth pursuing in the best way that you can. And at the end of the day, that's all we can ask out of any of us. As long as you're trying, I think you will be pleasantly surprised at how these, if you hold these virtues true, how they will be able to help yourself and others bring about the best kind of life you could want. So that's what I got for you, friends. Check it out yourself. Check out, Google these things, the 7 universal moral rules, and see what you come up with. See what you find. Check it out, see what you think, and I hope you guys have a great day. See ya.